Brace yourself, guys. This is going to be another long one, probably. It's 3 in the morning. Feels kind of like 5 in the morning on account of how tired I am. I just figured I'd turn on the flip and talk to you guys again on some real one-on-one type of shit. You know, no jokes, no funny business, just me being real with you guys once again. Because I'm in one of those moods, and you know, sometimes it's good to just vent and release any frustration, which I have a lot of right now. The reason for, or the cause of one of my frustrating moments, I should say, well, it's girl trouble, obviously. Well, no, I don't see how that's obvious, but yeah, guys, we sometimes go through our women problems and whatnot. But this one in particular has to do with a girl that I was dating back in, I think we got together officially in October or so. I'm not sure. We unfortunately didn't last that long. I ended things in January, and yeah, reason being was just because we started our relationship back in October of last year, and I wanted to take things slow because I still as you guys know, for those of you guys who watched the when AJ met Susie, you'll know that I didn't deal with it all that well, and I developed really severe trust issues. You know what I mean? And ever since then, I just had a hard time putting trust and faith into people, into just everything. And I really did care about this girl that I was dating, but I didn't trust her. Now, when I say this, I don't mean I didn't trust her in the sense that I felt that she was going to be unfaithful, because she never gave off that vibe that she would ever run astray and go cheat or anything like that. I trusted her in that sense. I just didn't trust her in the sense that, I just didn't want to get hurt again. And I know at the end of the Susie vlog I said, don't be afraid of love, and all that stuff. And I meant what I said. And, at the same time, it's really hard to follow your own advice. And it's really hard to set that into your own core values, that particular quote, like, don't be afraid of love, because love can do some pretty messed up things to you. I mean, love hurts, man. It really does hurt. And you know what I mean, like, it takes a lot longer to recover from a broken heart than it does from a broken limb. You know what I mean? I mean, you break your arm, well, it takes a couple months to heal, depending on how bad you broke it. I mean, there's some bones where if you break, you're fucked for life. But I mean, regular broken arm or something like that. But broken heart, man. I mean, that can last a very long time. It takes a lot. It takes a lot for a person to get over that. Sometimes that flip is so annoying. I'm like, I don't even know if I don't think I'm in the frame. There we go. But yeah. So yeah, and I remember when me and this girl, I don't want to say her name or anything, but me and this girl, when we started dating or whatever, things were good. Things were really good. But as I said, I wanted to take things slow because I wasn't really ready to make that transition yet and make that step. And in the beginning, she was cool with that. She understood where I was coming from. I explained the situation, not really in depth, but she was aware of how I felt and everything like that. So we took it slow. And in the beginning, you know, we went through the whole typical common puppy, not puppy love, but what's it called? The honeymoon stage, as most people would call it. And the honeymoon stage is always great. You know what I mean? You're getting to know the person. You know, you guys are getting intimate, sexual, all that stuff, all that fun, good stuff, right? And it was great. You know, we had a lot of laughs. We did a lot of stuff together, and it was fun. It was exciting. It was new, and I liked it. And I remember I got really lost in that moment, you know, and I was trying to be cautious, but like, you know, I don't know, I just, with her, I felt, I don't know, it was just, it was cool, like, you know, like, she was kind of goofy like me, and like, you know what I mean, she was silly, and she liked to have fun, and, you know, I missed that element, you know what I mean, I missed, like, just having a connection with the opposite sex on that kind of level where you can just be goofy, you can just be yourself and everything, and you're not judged for it, you know what I mean? And it's a good feeling. I know a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. And, you know, after that, I remember there's one particular comment that she had made, and the way she said it, like, I read it, like, I have this problem when it comes to like love and all like relationships and stuff. I tend to overanalyze everything. So when she said this, it came off like the way she said it, she wanted it to come off in a certain way, but I perceived it different, a lot differently than how she meant to interpret it. And basically, what she said was, you know, something along the lines of like, I'm having, like, you know, I'm not sure if this is like just puppy love, quote unquote, or if this is actually like legit kind of thing. Now, what she was trying to say was that, you know, something, she was trying to say something along the lines of she was falling for me, but she didn't know if it was like the real deal, like if the feelings were like real, because she found it hard to believe that she was falling for me so quickly, basically, is what she was trying to say. That's what she was trying to say. How I interpreted it was, she wasn't sure if it was just a phase that she was going through, and that it would just fade out, and then she would go, and then she would just like stop, you know, she would lose all attraction, basically. Now you can see how I would get that confused because of the way she said it, right? Like obviously the way she explained it to me afterwards, it makes sense, right? But the way how it came off made it seem like it was just kind of like there was no longevity in what we were doing. So I mean, I didn't get frustrated, but I didn't get upset or anything. But you know, I went from living in that moment to now red flag. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit. So from there, you know, I kind of just I didn't express my feelings towards what she had said at that time, but you know, at that time I was kind of just like, okay, you know what? Now I gotta be very careful because I got lost in the moment. I didn't realize that, you know, okay, maybe we're moving too fast. Maybe she's second guessing certain things, and so that went on for a little bit, and then we had our first fight because of it, because I brought it up again. I brought it up, and we argued about it, and then we started getting into these situations where like we would argue and argue and argue, and then it started like I started like more red flags popping up, because then it was like, okay, now the arguing is starting, and now this is exactly what me and Susie went through, and this is exactly what I didn't want to do, because what I was doing was painting this girl with the same brush as Susie, which is totally wrong. It was something that I couldn't help. It was just I was trying to safeguard myself, and I ended up, I guess, suffering for it in a way. And because of that, I didn't want to start a relationship. Not that I didn't want to start a relationship. I didn't want to put a label on it. She kept stressing the whole label, because we were dating for like 3 months at that point, and she wanted to start putting a label on things, and I didn't want to put a label on things until I was sure that I was ready to make that step. because of all the red flags that were going on and prior to that. I didn't want to just jump the gun and jump into things and then have my heart broken and, you know, invest all that time and all that emotion and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, I was still kind of jaded by the whole thing, right? By the situation. And so after that, you know, like I noticed that she would like every time she'd get like she'd just keep bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up, and a lot of the times I found that it was like she would make certain comments about real talk. Like she was for the most part she was very supportive of real talk, but she would make certain comments here and there about like my attitude on real talk compared to like my attitude towards her, like when we were in person, and how there was a different dynamic, and I had to explain that, you know, it's all just an act. It's like performing, like, you know, I'm just trying to like cater to my audience and be entertaining and whatever like that. And so again, red flag, because it's like Susie had a problem with me doing real talk too, and so all these things in conjunction were just like, you know, like piling on, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like deja vu all over again. The thing was, because we didn't put a label on things, she now felt it necessary to now pull back, you know, because of the fact that she didn't want to invest her all into something that was had no certainty, you know what I mean? And I didn't want to invest in anything if I didn't see longevity. So we were at a crossroads, and neither one of us was willing to compromise. And you know, I'm stubborn. I'm very stubborn. You know what I mean? It takes me a while to admit when I'm wrong and to apologize. The thing, I do apologize though. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, she's very stubborn. Also, she got frustrated. I got frustrated at the fact that she was frustrated, and it was just like just a messy situation. You know, it got to the point where I was just like, this is just too much, man. Like, we were always fighting, and that was the main reason, because there was no label on it or anything. And so out of frustration, I was just like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. It's over. We're done. And that was that. Broke up with her, and that's pretty much what it was. And after that, she didn't want to talk to me, obviously, for good reason. And you know, we that was that. I moved on. She moved on. A little while after that, she got back at me, and you know, she was saying how she apologized for certain things, which I thought was very big of her, and yeah, she just said that she didn't want me, like, she didn't want to lose me as a friend, and she still wanted me in her life and everything. And you know, again, I was kind of just like, I was used to the whole, like, if I break up with somebody or someone breaks up with me, I was always used to the fact that, like, if we break up, then we don't try to maintain a friendship. I mean, I know they say that you shouldn't burn bridges, but I mean, not to say that I do burn bridges, but like, it's really hard to go back, like, to revert back to being friends, especially when we didn't start off being friends. Like, we met each other, and then we started dating immediately. It wasn't like we were friends first, or we were like acquaintances, or we were like, you know, it was just, we just got into it. And it's hard when you trying to be friends with someone, going back to being friends with somebody when you share this, like, a sexual, physical connection with them, as well as an intimate connection. You know, it's weird. You know what I mean? Not only is it weird, but it's hard to maintain a healthy relationship, because us as guys, we're very territorial creatures. You know what I mean? Like, if I saw her talking to a guy, or saw her posting or on someone's Facebook of the opposite sex, or vice versa, if they were posting on her shit, then I'm not gonna lie, I'd be upset by it, as would a lot of other guys, you know. I mean, and it's all because we're just territorial. If we can't have you, then we don't want anyone else to have you, and it's kind of like we want our cake and eat it too, and we know that it's impossible to do so, but that's just the way we were programmed. That's the way we were hardwired. So it's literally out of our control. Like, you know, you could tell us, oh yeah, you know, grow up, do this, do that, whatever. But you know how hard that is. Like that's like that's like telling a girl not to have mood swings. You know what I mean? During her period or whatever like that. You know, it's near impossible, right? So yeah. I mean, so I wasn't really 100% down with the idea of being friends with her, but at the same time, I did miss her. I'm not gonna lie. So, I agreed to it, and we chilled every now and then, and we added each other back on Facebook and everything, and then like I said earlier, I mean, I'd see guys posting on her wall or whatever like that, and it would really bother me, and like this is why I fucking hate Facebook, man. This is it drives me insane, man. And so yeah, I got to the point where I'm just like, oh man, like I'm like the jealous ex-boyfriend now. I don't want to be the jealous ex-boyfriend. I thought I was cool. I thought I had a handle on this, you know what I mean? But clearly I didn't. And so I I just deleted her off Facebook because I couldn't take it. And then it's like, I know a lot of you guys feel what I'm saying when you do, because I'm sure a lot of you people have done that, where you'll just delete your ex off your Facebook, because it's hard to see them interact with, like, even if they're just interacting with a cousin, like, you don't know that it's their cousin or whatever like that. So you think that the guy could be like 70 years old, and you're like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, deleted her off Facebook, and then she got all pissed off, and she couldn't understand my reasoning. I tried to explain it to her, and just went right over her head because she couldn't conceptualize the what I was saying at that time. And so yeah, after that, we reached out to each other again, added each other on Facebook again, and it was the same old routine and everything like that, and yeah, like, again, it was just the same shit that we both had to deal with, like, I mean, jealousy and all that stuff. And then recently it was the same thing. I mean, I got a little, like, we got into another fight over stupidness, because I was starting to get back into that whole, like, I missed her, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I missed the times that we had and shit, and so I reached out to her in a subtle way and tried to, like, get her attention and stuff, and she took the bait, and that sounds so wrong, but yeah, we were supposed to meet up, and she forgot, you know what I mean, and that kind of bummed me out, because the minute I started, like, trying to, like, at least attempt to make an effort again, it's kind of like, oh yeah, she kind of just forgot. So it frustrated me, and again, the red flag, because I started, like, reflecting back to a situation from the past where that's happened to me. And this is why you should never paint the same person with the same paint the person. It's late. It's late. I can't even talk right now, but you know what I'm trying to say. I was painting her with the same brush, and we ended up getting into this big fight again. And yeah, so it got messy, and some stuff was said, and she kind of said some stuff, like, she was like, oh yeah, like, you need to grow up, and you need to stop thinking that the world is against you, and that the world, the world hates you, and all this stuff like that. And for one, I got really offended, because she made it seem like I was crazy, and I'm not crazy. I mean, there's a method to my madness, I guess you would say. And I grew up, like, okay, the Susie thing plays a big part in this. I'm not gonna lie, and I am over Susie. It's just there's certain, like, it's like there's certain, it goes back to the painting of the brush. Like there's certain elements that come back and you're just like, you get scared that that shit might happen again. You know what I mean? And on top of that, it's like, it's not like I see the world as like, oh yeah, the world is out to get me, so I gotta isolate myself from everybody and all this stuff like that. That's not the case at all. It's just like, it's just like, I've been dogged by family members. I'm not gonna disclose who, but you know, I can't trust certain people in my family. You know, look at what happened with me and Renegade. Renegade was my best friend. Like I've known this guy since grade 4, and look at the shit that happened there. You know what I mean? Among other things, it's just like, you know, when people keep letting you down like this, it's kind of hard to put your trust and your faith into people. I just feel that she didn't really understand me, and a lot of the times she was like, her arguments were a reflection just of her own frustration, and she never really took my feelings and you know, how I felt about the whole thing. She may deny it, but I just don't think she really understood me on the level that I'd hoped that she would, because I'm not like, it's like I said, I'm not here thinking, oh yeah, the world is against me. It's just like, I've been scarred and jaded, and like I've been you know, I've been used. People have abused my trust over the past, and I've bounced back, but it's just like, when that stuff keeps happening, it's like you kind of have to protect yourself. You kind of have to be wary of who you put your trust into. I'm not sitting here and be like, I don't trust anybody ever. You know what I mean? But trust has to be earned. Yeah, I can't just give it out like a raffle ticket. You know what I mean? So, and that's of no disrespect to her or anything. It's just like, you know, like, we just started dating, and like, I can't just give you my all and, you know, like, put my 100% trust into you, because who knows what'll happen. Like, you know, like, I didn't know. Like, I was scared. I got scarred by all those red flags that kept popping up, and you know, I have to protect myself. You know what I mean? And the whole reason why I'm vlogging about this in the first place was because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she's kind of going through the same situation right now. Like, she's dating another friend of mine who just, same situation. He just got out of a really bad breakup. Well, not, it wasn't a bad breakup, but I mean, it was a lot. Like, he was dating this girl for a very long time, and they broke up, and yeah, he basically, my friend and the girl that he's seeing, who's also my friend, um, they're seeing each other now, but they haven't really put a label on their quote unquote relationship either, because he kind of wants to take things slow, because if you just get out of a relationship, you know, you're still scarred by what happened, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you don't want to close off any doors or anything like that. Like, you know, you still want to see what's out there and experiment, well, not experiment, but I mean, you want to, you know, I can't think of a word right now. It's late. It's late. But yeah, so they're kind of going at his pace right now. And you know, I was talking to her, and she addressed the fact that she's really frustrated by all of this, by the fact that she has to wait, but at the same time, she understands, because rather than, you know, thinking in her mind frame, and this girl is like, she's like on some next level. Like, she's not like your typical girl, you know. She kind of took herself out of her mind frame, put herself into his position, and thought about it logically, and was just like, okay, just got out of a relationship. You know, we're kind of having our fun, seeing where it goes, and I'm not gonna get emotionally invested, but I'm not gonna treat it as though it's nothing either. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be there, you know, and work on his terms and not stress him about it, because ultimately I could push him away. And when she said that to me, I was just like, wow, that is fucking crazy, because that's exactly what I was going through too. because when my girl at the time was, when me and her were in this situation, things were great up until she kept pushing the label and ultimately pushing me away every time. I mean, she would do some really amazing things, like, she would nurture me whenever I was sick, and like I saw those motherly qualities in her that I've always wanted in my potential girlfriend, and also my wife. You know what I mean? But then she would just keep on, like pushing and all this stuff, and it was just like, oh my goodness, like it was too much. It was just too much, and I just needed my time. But like, even though we didn't have a label, I didn't treat like, if I'm dating you, I'm gonna make it exclusive. I'm gonna make it evident that you're the only one that I'm seeing, even if there's no label on it. I'm like if I'm seeing other people, I'll be honest with you and I'll tell you, listen, I'm seeing other people. You know what I mean? I was never on that. I'm not that kind of guy who's gonna sneak around and be like, oh, I'm dating you, but I also got my side chick. You know what I mean? I'm not like that. You know what I mean? Yes, I'll date around, but like, it goes back to what I was saying from a long, long time ago, where like I will casually date, but the minute we turn this casual dating into a sexual thing, and we've established that it's not friends with benefits, but like a sexual, intimate moment, then I'm pretty much with you. I've made my choice. You know what I mean? If there's more than one girl involved, and I've made a sexual commitment to you, then I'm involved with you. I have to cut off all those other girls. That's always been my rule. So, with that being said, you know, we'd obviously gotten to that point, right? So I considered her. Even when I introduced her to my friends, I'm like, yo, this is my girl. I never just, but I like to her, I never referred to her. Like, yeah, you're my girlfriend. But like, whenever I brought her over, I introduced her to my friends or whatever. It'd be like, this is my girl. This is my girl. I never said this is. I'm not gonna say her name, but never said that. I always said this is my girl because that's how I perceived it as. That's how I saw her. You know what I mean? I just wasn't ready to like openly admit it, like officially, kind of. Whereas she like, and she has her reasons, and it's justified. But like there was some occasions where we would run. There was one time when we ran into her friend. She didn't even introduce me. Like, not even like, she didn't say, oh, this is Andrew. Like, she didn't even introduce me, which is kind of like, okay, well, what's that about? She's talking to this guy for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever, how long it was. I'm there standing there like an idiot, like, okay, well, she's not gonna introduce me, so I'll just go look at the hats over here. You know what I mean? That's like a slap to the face, but I didn't say anything to her. I kind of just brushed it off because, I mean, I figured she's tripping over the whole not having a label, doesn't know. Her argument would probably be, I didn't know how to introduce you. I'm like, well, I have a name, but that's neither here nor there either. So, anyway, now we're in this position where, like, this is kind of part of the reason why I took a break from YouTube, because this stuff was stressing me out too. I was just like, okay, now I'm all confused because like now it's like I got these mixed emotions and all this stuff, and for a while I was doing my thing, just having my fun and just chilling, living the single life and everything. But then we started talking again, and all it just got messy, and now I don't even know what's going on now. You know what I mean? Like we're not talking, and it is what it is, right? But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't even know, man. But it's complicated, man. It's just the whole dating scene is very, very complicated. And I know I do all these videos about like talking about women and all this stuff, and it may come off as though I know everything there is to know about women, but yo, there's still a lot that I will just never understand. We as men will just never understand certain things about women, and vice versa. So there's certain things that women will just never understand about men. But yeah, it's just because we're from two different worlds. But I think what it all comes down to is like, with that being said, we have to stop getting so angry and frustrated at certain things that the opposite sex does. Like, as a woman, if a man is doing something that really frustrates you and you're constantly asking yourself, why doesn't he understand it? Why doesn't he get it? Why can't he read into this? It's because we're not fucking mind readers, okay? We don't think like women do. You know what I mean? Like, if you want a man who fully understands you 100%, your only option is to date a gay guy, which, and we kind of already know that not really gonna be practical for you. And for the men, you know what I mean? When you're like, oh my gosh, girls are so frustrating. Yes, they are fucking frustrating. They're crazy. But they're to them, they don't think they're crazy. They think they're very much sane. And the only reason why we think they're crazy is because we don't understand them. We don't understand them, so we think they're crazy. If you don't understand somebody, you automatically label them as crazy. You know what I mean? That's all it is. And we may never understand them 100% because the only way we can do that is if we walk in their shoes. Not literally. Don't go out into your mom's closet and start put on a pair of heels or anything like that. I mean that in the figurative sense. Um but yeah, I mean that's really all what it boils down to. And I just really wish that this girl could understand where I was coming from, but now I don't think that's possible. You know what I mean? But there is a girl out there who will just get it, who will just understand, and maybe not understand completely, but will still be able to cope and be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop thinking like a woman, put myself in your shoes, and try to rationalize with you and come to an agreement where we both get what we want, kind of thing. Something like that, you know what I mean? And I think that's what I need. I need a girl who can really understand me and cope with me and just be patient, man. Just be a little patient. Just understand that, like, brother needs time. You know what I mean? Like, we respect your time, but as men, we're not entitled to it because some of you women feel that we don't have feelings and we should just act on impulse and all this shit like that because we're rugged and whatever the case may be, whatever your excuse is, you know what I mean? And maybe that is the case for most men, but for me, I mean, if I've been hurt, then I need some time. Call me soft, but like, I don't want to just rush into something. I mean, I'm 24. At this point in my life, the woman that I choose to be with, that's pretty much gonna be my wife. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, I have my fun here and there, but like, I mean, I'm grown. I'm too grown for that now. Like, I mean, if I choose to be with somebody at this point in my life, she has to be the one. Like, she has to be the one. She just has to be the one because my focus is so heavily like stationed on my YouTube grind and finding my career. That's it. Notice I don't based on my vlogs, I don't go out that much. And it's not because I don't have friends and I'm a loner and I just choose to isolate myself from the world. It's because this is the lifestyle that I've chosen to be in, you know what I mean? Like I choose not to go out. I would rather sit here and write scripts all day and shoot videos and stuff like that because this is what I love to do. This is the only thing that makes me happy nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only way that I can really crack a smile nowadays because right now I hate the job that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like lost my best friend. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it. Like, this is all I have. This is really ultimately this is all I have. And it may sound sad, but I'm content with it. But the girl that I end up with has to be understanding of that, as well as just be understanding and patient with me. You know what I mean? Because I need someone to be my backbone, not break my back. You know what I'm saying? So So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of just sharing this story. Just, you know, maybe you guys understand where I'm coming from, and maybe you guys are in similar situations or have been in similar situations where you've had to deal with this kind of bullshittery. I don't know, but you know, that's just the way it is right now, man. That's just the way it is, and it sucks. It really does suck. But I know there's better, man. I know there's better out there, and you know, it's just a matter of weighing out my options, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because you know, I've been dating, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I know this video was kind of long, so I'm gonna wrap it up. And yeah. So for those of you guys who stuck around again for another long video, I want to thank you. And there's definitely gonna be more of these, more long ass videos. So you know, shout outs to those who stuck out and watched it all. But that's really all I gotta say. So I'm your boy Tactics. Peace, and I'm out.